Oh, hello. Hello there. We're back. Yes, we're back. Hello, everyone. It's Adrian, and you're welcome back to the channel where I talk about my unfiltered thoughts and opinions that nobody asked for. Oh my god. If that sounds like something that you're into, like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get right into today's episode. As you've seen from the title, today we're going to be talking about things that I personally find cool. Keyword, things that Adrian, personally find cool. If you're someone who does these things or has these things, in my mind, like in my eyes, my brain immediately goes like, this is a cool person. It does not matter who you are, where you're from. If you do these things or have these things, in my eyes, you're cool. You are immediately cool. Let's get into it without wasting any time. Number one, people who have platinum blonde hair or people who dye their hair platinum blonde. I'm not talking about the yellowy blonde. No, that is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the blonde that looks white. That hair that looks like literally looks white, like this, not with like a tint of yellow. No, no, no. I mean white. In my eyes, if you're someone who has white hair, in my immediately you're cool. It does not matter who you are, what you dress like, what in my eyes you're cool. What I remember like the other day, I saw a girl. I saw a girl. She had like braids. I don't know if it was braids or locks. I mean, I couldn't really tell. It was late at night, but it was something between either locks or braids. And they were what? Guess what? Platinum blonde. And it was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. And the braids or dreadlocks, because I didn't see them really well, whatever they are, they looked so cool. And the roots were not black. I don't know if she like dyed her hair platinum blonde too, but it all looked white, like so white. And to me, I'm like, she's a cool person. Immediately I look at her and I was like, she's a cool person. I have to say hi. And I did. And I did. I was like, I love your hair. It's really cool. And I think you're a cool person. And at some point, the moment like my hair, it might look like it's not much, but trust me, it's really long. Okay, not really long, but it's like it's pretty long, shrinkage. But the moment I get tired with my hair, just know that it will be the moment where I'm like tired with my hair and I'm like about to shave it off. I'm gonna dye it platinum blonde. I'm not even kidding. This is a promise. This is a promise. The moment I wanna like go back to having like short hair or I wanna like regrow my hair, I'm gonna dye it platinum blonde. This is not me just saying this. This is a promise. When I see someone with like platinum blonde hair, in my eyes, they are immediately cool. It doesn't matter if it's like a woman, a man, There's also this really old man. He was like probably in his like 80s, probably 90s, I don't know. But he had a lot of hair. He used to be our neighbor. He used to have a lot of hair and all of it was white, not like little like gray hairs here and there. No, the whole head was just white. And he used to comb his hair out, and every single time I would see him, I'm like, that is what I want to be like. Like, to me, he was the coolest old man that I'd ever seen in my entire life, because I'm like, that's who I'm trying to be. When I'm like old, that is who I want to be. With the platinum blonde hair, but for him it wasn't really platinum blonde. It was like that's his natural hair. But to me that was like so cool. Like in my eyes, that is really cool. Someone with like really white hair, platinum blonde, but like white hair. To me that's like really cool. In my eyes, I'm like, you're like the coolest person. You are. If you're someone who has like white hair, like platinum blonde, I really think you're cool, and I want you to know that. And yes, I think you are superior. I really do. Because I don't know what it is, but to me, it just signals power and confidence and coolness to me. I don't know why, but that's just how I've always seen it. You have white hair, platinum blonde hair, you're cool to me. In my eyes, you're cool. Period. The second one, when people have facial features that don't look like they're from this time period. And somebody that just popped in my mind right now is Finn Wolfhard, the actor. Yes. When I first saw his photo, it was like 3 years ago. I didn't know who he was, and don't even come for me, okay? Don't come for me and be like, well, Adrian, you're an actor. How come you didn't know who Finn was? I just did not. I don't watch that many shows. I watch movies, I watch films. I don't watch that many shows. So I didn't know who he was. And that was like 3 years ago. We're not talking about now. But when I first saw his photo, it was like in a video, I don't remember what the person was talking about, but it was this one photo of him, it was a black and white photo. And the first thing that popped in mind, I was like, this is probably like a musician from like the 80s that was like really popular in America and was like in some kind of band, some kind of rock band, and is no longer alive. That's what I thought. That's who I thought he was. I didn't know who he was. I didn't even know he was an actor. I thought he was like a musician. And if he was an actor, my mind was like, he's probably an actor from like the 80s or like 70s, somewhere there. So I didn't know it was him. When I found out, good, when I found out that he is not dead and he's still alive and he is in the same generation as me, I just could not believe it. I was like, there is no way. There is no way, because he looks like he's from a different time, like literally, and I mean that in the best way possible. And I find that really, really cool. It's not often that you meet or see somebody that looks like they're just from a totally different time period. And I think he really just is like, he's the perfect example for that. He just does not look like he's from my generation, let alone the 2000s. He looks like he's from like the 80s or like the 70s, 60s, somewhere there. And to me, I find that really, really cool. When people have those features that they look like they're like from a completely different time period. I don't know what it is. In my eyes, I'm like, they're cool. They're cool. So when I saw his photo for the first time, I was like, this is a cool person. He looks like a cool person. Then when I found out that he is still alive and it's not like from the 80s and he's an actor, I was like, he's even cooler now, because he's young, but he looks like he's not from this generation. And by that, I don't mean old. I just mean it just does not, his features, he does not look like he's from my generation. And I find that to be really, really, really cool. Why? I don't know. I just find it to be really, really cool. Going to the third one. Wait, is this the third one? No, the fourth one. Going to the fourth one. People who wear old stuff, old clothes, old thrifted things, By old, I mean things that look like one of those things that look like your grandfather or your dad used to wear back in the day. I don't know, man, what it is about that kind of style. I don't know what. Right now, looking back, I look at some photos of like my father and like my uncle and what they used to wear, like the silhouettes, the pants, the clothes, the shirts and like the ties, the jackets, everything. To me, that looks cool to me. Again, to some people, they might look at it and be like, yeah, that's really old. I don't know, and I do not care. To me, I look at it and I'm like, God, that's so cool. And seeing young people, I mean, I thought I was the only one, but like seeing young people wear those kinds of styles now, I'm like, you're cool. In my eyes, I'm like, immediately, you're cool, with like the vest and like the ties and the layering and all these different patterns that do not match with every single thing. I don't know what it is, but I just find that really, really cool. Again, something that just popped in my mind right now is like, have you ever seen like Ralph Lauren campaign ads and like their photos on like billboards? That is what I'm talking about. The way the models dress, they look like they're from a completely different time. To some people that they're just not into that, but to me, I look at that, I'm like, that is cool. I see a young person wearing that. For some reason, it's trending now. I don't know why, but it's trending. But when I see a young person wearing that, in my eyes, I'm like, you're cool immediately. You're cool. Again, I don't know what it really is. I can't like pinpoint what it is exactly, but I just feel like clothes back in the day, just things in general, look like they just used to have a lot of character compared to the kind of clothes that we get now. I just look at like some fashion choices that like are trending nowadays, and I'm like, what even is that? And I'm not even like trying to judge people, but I look at it and I'm like, no, that is way no. You know, I want to wear what my father or grandfather used to wear back in the day. Seriously, I look at their photos and I'm like, that is so cool. Like I want to wear that. I want to be able to be as young as I am, but be able to dress like that. I don't know. I just find it so chic and simple and like classy. Not only classy, but I find it really creative. Like you can actually tell that there was some time and thought that went into like putting some of these looks, and it's just so, I don't know, man. It's really really cool to me. You know, the things that I'm really into is not like your normal, you know, like fast fashion kind of stuff. I mean, I don't really, I have worn fast fashion, but it's not really like, I have like two, three stuff from like fast fashion. It's not really my thing, but I like to thrift. And one of the things that I like to wear is those jackets that look like your grandfather wears. You know, like those leather beat up jackets. That is what I like. That's what I want to wear. Those like V cut, you know, those sweaters with like a V cut uh, neck. That is what I want. That is what I like. You know, the pants, the dress pants, and like those little. That is what I'm into. That's what I like. Something that looks like an old man from the 80s would wear. You know, a black man from like a really, you know, back in the what they would wear. That's what I find cool. You know, the coats, you know, the like jackets and all these long coats and all these things. I just find them really, really cool. So when I see someone in today's day and age, a young person to be specific, that dresses in that way, in my eyes, are just like, you're cool. I also feel like Finn also kind of dresses like that, you know, like the pants and the dress pants and the loafers and like the sweaters, the cardigans. That is cool to me. To you, you might look at it and be like, yeah, that is really messed up. You look like an old man. That is what I want. That is what I like. That's what I'm exactly trying to go for. That. Exactly that. And I look at it, I look at that, I'm just like, yep, that is what I want. That's what I like, and that's what I find cool. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of trending right now. I don't know why. I do not know why it's trending right now, but it is, and I don't like it. I do not like it because when I was like wearing it, no one was wearing it really, but now it's kind of like trending. Everyone is kind of like dressing like an old lady or somebody's grandfather for some reason, including myself, but I've been doing it. I've been doing it for a while now, but it is in right now and it's trending. I don't know why. I don't know whether that's like good or bad, and I don't think I need to know right now. What I know is that I find that to be really, really cool and chic and elegant and creative. You know, the different patterns, you know, the way that the pants might not match with like the jacket or like the vest, the every single thing, the jackets, you know, how messy it looks sometimes. It is just like exactly that. That is what I like. So if you're someone who dresses like that, I immediately think you're cool. Or somebody has, or someone who has like old stuff in their house, you know, like antiques, just really old things, like books. This is a pretty old book, and I find that to be cool. So when I walk into somebody's house and they have like really old pieces of furniture and like books, I find that to be really, really, really cool and interesting. So if you're someone who's like that, who like collects antiques and dresses in a way that is like different, that looks like they're from like the 90s or like the 80s, I really think you're cool. I do. I do. And lastly, the last thing that I really find cool about someone or something that when I see people do or people have, I'm just like, I immediately think you're cool. Immediately is having a specific scent, a specific perfume, you know, cologne, um, whatever, you know, fragrance that you just really like and you choose to like stick to that. I find that to be so, so, so cool. For example, with myself, the fragrances that I wear, I've been wearing them for like years now. Like they're years to the point where if somebody like gets something, if I like pass by somewhere and somebody else that I know pass like like pass by me or like comes in the same room, they're like, oh, you were here, you were in this room, or you were here. It's just, I don't know. I find that really cool when people have like. I always find it really cool when people have a specific scent that they really really like, and they like choose to stick to that to the point where it does not matter where you are. The moment you smell that specific scent, it immediately makes you think of them. You know, immediately I'm like, oh God, this smells like someone that I know. Immediately they like think of you. I remember because again, the same perfume that I've been wearing it for like years now. You know, it's not one specific one. That's why you can really like find someone who like smells exactly the way that I do because I mix them. Yes, I do. I do mix perfumes. I do that. It's not weird. It's normal. I do that. So it's like it's not it's kind of hard to find someone who like smells exactly like I do because I mix them. So because of that, when somebody smells something that's like slightly similar to that, they're always like, "Oh, it reminded of you." And I find that to be so cool. You know, when someone has like a staple fragrance and like perfume, cologne that they really really like and they choose to stick to that one. I don't know, but I just find that really cool because it does not matter where I am or what I'm doing. The moment I smell that specific, that same scent, I'm always gonna think of them because my brain already associated that particular scent with them. So it doesn't matter where I go or what I do, I'm always like, this reminds me of them. And I think scent is just, it's important. It's just, it carries a lot of memories. I really think so, you know, because you know when you like smell something and it like reminds you of your childhood. I'm like, oh God, I remember smelling something like this when I was like younger, and now it reminds me of my childhood, and I'm now feeling nostalgic. I just find it really cool when people choose a specific scent and they choose to stick to that. Like myself, I'm not saying this to like, yeah, I'm also one of those people, so that means that I'm cool. No, I'm not doing it for that. I just mean that I also happen just to be wearing the same scent for years now. So it's really specific. It doesn't matter where I am. You're gonna know. You're gonna know it's me. You're gonna know it's me in the room. So yeah, I find that to be really cool. But that's it. That's all I have to say for today's episode. I did not want to make it super long. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know so that I can share more because I definitely for sure do have more things that I find really, really cool in people. These things that I mentioned, man, it doesn't matter who you are at the moment. I see you having or doing these things. I'm like, you're cool. You're cool. End of discussion. You are. In my eyes, you're cool. Period. That's it. That's all I have to say for today's episode. Thank you so much for hanging out. Yeah, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you feel like it. Also, let me know. Let me know what you find cool in other people. Let me know about what you think. What Let me know about the things that other people do or have that you find cool. Yeah, that's it. I love you. Take care of yourself. Like and subscribe. Thank you for hanging out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. That's it. I'll see you on the next one. Yeah, I need to end the video now. Bye bye. See you on the next one.